Debt Verdict, DV001 title. He exposed a $30 million phantom debt empire. Category Revenge, Consumer Justice. Target length 1,200–1,500 words. A debt collector called a man and threatened to rape his wife. The debt? Completely fake. Most people would hang up, maybe file a complaint, maybe lose sleep for a week and move on. Andrew Therrien didn't do any of that. Instead, he spent an entire year infiltrating the criminal network behind the call and brought down a $30 million phantom debt empire. This is the story of how one ordinary man dismantled one of the largest debt fraud operations in American history. In the summer of 2015, Andrew Therrien was living a quiet life in Rhode Island. He sold swimming pools for a living. He had a wife, a dog, a normal suburban existence. Nothing about his life suggested he would become a one-man investigative unit. Then his phone rang. The caller claimed Therrien owed $700 on a payday loan. The problem? Therrien had never taken out a payday loan in his life. Not once. Not ever. He told the collector this. The collector didn't care. Over the next several weeks, the calls kept coming. Different numbers, different voices, same demand. Pay $700 for a loan you never took. Then the threats started. One caller told Therrien he would come to his house. Another said he would have him arrested. And then came the call that changed everything. A collector told Andrew Therrien in explicit detail what he would do to Therrien's wife. For most people, that's where the story ends. You call the police, you change your number, you try to forget. But Andrew Therrien is not most people. Instead of retreating, Therrien went on the offensive. He started recording every call. He began researching the numbers, the companies, the names. He created fake identities and called the collectors back, pretending to be a fellow debt buyer looking to purchase portfolios. And he started climbing the ladder. See, the phantom debt industry works like a pyramid. At the bottom are the callers, aggressive, often criminal, working out of boiler rooms. They buy lists of names and phone numbers attached to debts. Some of those debts are real but already paid. Some are real but past the statute of limitations. And some, like the one attached to Therrien's name, are completely fabricated, made up from scratch. These lists are called phantom debt portfolios. They contain names, social security numbers, phone numbers, and fake loan amounts. They get bought and sold for pennies on the dollar. And the people whose names are on those lists have no idea they've been turned into products. Therrien discovered that the portfolios were massive. We're not talking about a few hundred names, we're talking about millions. He befriended low-level collectors. He posed as a crooked debt buyer. He recorded conversations where collectors admitted the debts were fake. He gathered names, bank accounts, and payment records. He tracked money flows across state lines, and every piece of evidence pointed to one man. Joel Tucker. Tucker was a Kansas City entrepreneur who had figured out something terrifying. You don't need real debts to make real money. All you need is a spreadsheet with names and numbers, a phone, and the willingness to threaten people into paying for things they never bought. According to the Federal Trade Commission, Tucker fabricated a database containing more than 8 million fake payday loan debts. 8 million. Each entry included a name, a phone number, a social security number, and a fake loan amount, typically between $300 and $1,000. He then sold these phantom debt portfolios to collectors across the country. The collectors would call the people on the list, threaten them with arrest, lawsuits, wage garnishment, and worse. Many victims paid, not because they owed the money, but because they were terrified. Tucker earned $7.3 million selling fake debt portfolios. The total amount extracted from victims across his network was estimated at over $30 million. And none of it, not a single dollar, was based on a real debt. The FTC began investigating Tucker in 2016, partly based on evidence gathered by private citizens like Therrien. In 2018, the FTC filed a complaint against Tucker and his associates, charging them with violations of the Federal Trade Commission Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA. The case was FTC v. Joel Tucker et al., filed in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Missouri. In January 2019, a federal judge entered a judgment against Joel Tucker, ordering him to pay $30 million in restitution. the estimated total harm caused by his phantom debt operation. Tucker was also permanently banned from the debt collection industry. But the story doesn't end with a court order, because this case exposed something much bigger than one man's fraud. The FTC's investigation revealed that phantom debt is not a fringe crime. It's an industry. According to a 2016 FTC report, the agency received over 850,000 complaints about debt collectors that year alone, more than any other category. A significant portion of those complaints involved debts the consumers did not recognize or did not owe. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, has estimated that roughly 1 in 4 consumers who are contacted by debt collectors say the collector was trying to collect a debt they did not owe. 1 in 4. That means millions of Americans receive calls every year demanding payment for debts that are either already paid, past the statute of limitations, or completely fabricated. As for Andrew Therrien, the pool salesman from Rhode Island, he was never compensated for his year of undercover work. He didn't get a reward. He didn't get a movie deal. He got something quieter, the satisfaction of knowing that the man who threatened his wife was out of business and that 8 million fake debts would never be collected. Here's what this story teaches you. First, under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, 15 U.S.C., sections 1692 through 1692p, you have the right to demand written verification of any debt. If a collector calls you, you can send a written dispute within 30 days, and the collector must stop all collection activity until they provide verification. If they can't verify it, they can't collect it. Period. Second, phantom debt is real, and it's more common than most people think. If someone calls you about a debt you don't recognize, do not pay it. Do not confirm your identity. Do not give them any personal information. Hang up, pull your credit reports from annualcreditreport.com and file a complaint with the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov and with the CFPB at consumerfinance.gov. Third, never underestimate what one determined person can do. Andrew Therrien wasn't a lawyer. He wasn't a cop. He wasn't a journalist. He was a guy who sold swimming pools. And he brought down a $30 million criminal enterprise because he refused to be a victim. The system doesn't always protect you. Sometimes you have to protect yourself. If you've ever dealt with a collector demanding money for a debt you didn't owe, drop your story in the comments. Subscribe for more stories of debt and justice. End of script. DV001 word count 1350.